Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Alberta Water Council's recommendations for a new wetland policy have been on the minister's desk since September 08, and for over a year the minister has promised that the policy will be out shortly. Well, newsflash, shortly does not mean more than 14 months later. And as we continue to wait for the minister to actually do something, wetlands continue to be destroyed. My questions are to the Minister of the Environment. When will the minister finally replace the inadequate 17-year-old interim policy and start protecting Alberta's wetlands?
Good question. The Honourable Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the member is accurate on one count, and that is that we do have an interim policy that has been in place, believe it or not, since 1992. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is time that we develop a policy that applies to all of Alberta, because that interim policy only applies in the white zone, only in the cultivated areas of the province, and everyone knows that there is increasingly pressure now coming into the green zone, the rest of the province, and so it's a very complex, very complicated process. And I can assure you, the member, that we are spending an inordinate amount of time ensuring that we get it right before we come forward.
The honourable member.
Back to the same minister. 17 years. Given that Alberta has lost another 580 square kilometres of wetlands over the past year, while the minister has hemmed and hawed over those recommendations, will the minister commit to replacing those wetlands that have now been lost and adopting the Alberta Liberals' no net loss policy?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, I just wish it was so simple, and I wish that that would be something that this government could absolutely commit to. But the fact of the matter is that there are wetlands that have tremendous environmental ecological value, and there are other wetlands that perhaps don't have that degree of importance. It's ludicrous, Mr. Speaker, to have a policy that applies equally on an acre-for-acre basis across all forms and all classes of wetlands. I think that that is the crux of the issue, and that is where we're spending so much time to ensure that we have a policy that recognizes there are very valuable wetlands that maybe no net loss is inappropriate because it doesn't go far enough.
The honourable member.
Dither, 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 and we lose wetlands every time you dither. So, the Alberta Water Council does great work, but if the minister never acts on their recommendations, what value are Albertans getting for their $1.7 million investment in the council?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, the work that the Water Council does is invaluable in helping the government to formulate policy. But the fact of the matter is, and it's something that the opposition members fail to realize, is that the government is the policy-setting body, and ultimately this legislature will deal with any changes in legislation that are required to develop that policy. That, Mr. Speaker, is the truth of the matter. It is a complex issue. It is like everything else in the environment. It's a balancing act, and how do we maintain that balance between protecting the environment and ensuring that we continue to have economic growth at the same time?
The honourable member.